Bea Arthur was born Bernice Frankel on May 13, 1922, in Brooklyn, New York, and from an early age, she showed signs of independence and sharp intelligence that would later define her career. Raised in a Jewish household, she later moved with her family to Cambridge, Maryland, where she developed a strong sense of self and a dry, observant humor. Before acting ever became her focus, Arthur lived an unusually bold life for a woman of her generation. During World War II, she enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, working as both a truck driver and typist. This experience instilled discipline and confidence that stayed with her forever. After the war, she followed her passion for performance and enrolled at the New School's dramatic workshop in New York, studying under influential director Erwin Piscator. It was here that Bernice Frankel began transforming into Bea Arthur, a performer unlike any other. From stage roots to Broadway recognition, Bea Arthur's foundation in theatre shaped everything that followed in her career. Her commanding voice, impeccable timing, and ability to blend humor with emotional weight made her a standout on stage. She earned early acclaim playing Yente the Matchmaker in the original Broadway production of Fiddler on the Roof, a role that showcased her presence and comedic instinct. However, it was her performance as the sharp-tongued Vera Charles in the 1966 musical Mame that truly cemented her reputation. The role earned her a Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a musical and positioned her as a formidable force in theatre. Arthur's stage work revealed her ability to dominate a scene without relying on exaggeration, instead using intelligence and restraint. Producers quickly took notice, and it wasn't long before television came calling, offering her a platform that would introduce her talent to a much wider audience. Breaking television barriers with Maude B. Arthur's television breakthrough came in the early 1970s with her guest appearance as Maude Findlay on All in the Family. The character, Edith Bunker's outspoken and progressive cousin, resonated so strongly with audiences that it led to a spin-off series simply titled Maude. Airing from 1972 to 1978, the show was revolutionary for its time. Arthur portrayed a middle-aged woman who was politically outspoken, emotionally complex, and unapologetically independent. Maude tackled topics rarely addressed on sitcoms, including women's rights, mental health, and social inequality. Arthur's fearless performance earned her an Emmy Award in 1977 and made Maude Findlay a symbol of second-wave feminism. The role demonstrated Arthur's ability to combine comedy with conviction, proving that sitcoms could be smart, challenging, and deeply reflective of real social change. Personal life, marriages, and family. Behind the scenes, Bea Arthur's personal life was just as layered as her performances. She married writer and producer Robert Allen Arthur in 1947 after meeting him during her military service, though the marriage ended in divorce 3 years later. She kept his surname, slightly modified, as her professional name. In 1950, she married director Gene Saks, whom she met while studying at the dramatic workshop. Their marriage lasted nearly 3 decades, during which they adopted 2 sons, Matthew and Daniel. Arthur balanced motherhood with a demanding career, a challenge she rarely discussed publicly, but managed with determination. Matthew pursued acting, while Daniel worked behind the scenes as a set designer. Though Arthur was famously private, she spoke warmly of her children and took pride in their creative paths. Her marriage to Saks ended in 1978, marking another transition in her life. The Golden Girls and a late career triumph. In 1985, Bea Arthur took on one of her most iconic roles as Dorothy Zbornak on The Golden Girls. Alongside Betty White, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty, Arthur helped redefine how older women were portrayed on television. Dorothy was sharp, intelligent, emotionally grounded, and often served as the moral anchor of the group. Arthur's dry delivery and subtle vulnerability made the character unforgettable. The show became a cultural phenomenon, celebrated for its humor, warmth, and honesty. Arthur won her second Emmy Award in 1988, further solidifying her legacy. While audiences saw effortless chemistry on screen, the success of The Golden Girls was also rooted in Arthur's ability to bring depth to comedy. Dorothy wasn't just sarcastic. She was human, flawed, and deeply relatable, qualities that continue to resonate decades later. Why Bea Arthur considered leaving The Golden Girls. Despite the show's success, Bea Arthur seriously considered leaving The Golden Girls before its final season. By that point in her career, she was already a seasoned performer with high artistic standards. Arthur sometimes found the repetitive nature of sitcom production creatively limiting and longed for the immediacy of live theatre. Additionally, she reportedly experienced tension behind the scenes, particularly due to differences in comedic style among the cast. While nothing ever disrupted their professional performances, the emotional toll added up over time. Arthur also felt drawn back to the stage, where she could engage directly with audiences and explore more personal material. Ultimately, when Arthur decided not to continue, producers concluded the show could not go on without her. The Golden Girls ended in 1992, and the remaining cast moved on to a short-lived spin-off, marking the end of an era. Tension on Maude and the Esther role departure. Another lesser-known chapter in Bea Arthur's career involved behind-the-scenes tension during Maude, particularly surrounding Esther Rolle's departure. Rolle played Florida Evans, Maude's housekeeper, and quickly became a fan favorite due to her warmth, strength, and commanding presence. As her popularity grew, producers developed the spin-off series Good Times, centered on Rolle's character. While this was a major opportunity, it also meant Maude would lose a vital dynamic. Arthur reportedly felt the show suffered creatively from Florida's departure, as their on-screen chemistry was central to its success. This was not a personal conflict between the actresses, but a disagreement with network decisions. Arthur, deeply invested in quality storytelling, was frustrated by changes driven by business rather than creative integrity, and for a time, she considered leaving the series altogether. A return to the stage and artistic fulfillment. As television fame grew, Bea Arthur never abandoned her love for live performance. In her later years, she returned to the stage with renewed passion, most notably with her one-woman Broadway show, Bea Arthur on Broadway, just between friends in 2002. The show blended music, storytelling, and personal reflection, allowing Arthur to connect directly with audiences in a deeply intimate way. Free from the constraints of sitcom formats, she shared her life experiences with humor, honesty, and emotional depth. The production was widely praised and reaffirmed her status as a consummate performer. For Arthur, the stage offered creative fulfillment that television could not always provide. It was a reminder that her roots in theatre were not just the beginning of her career, but an essential part of who she was as an artist. Advocacy, values, and final years. Beyond her performances, Bea Arthur was known for her strong principles and advocacy work. She was a vocal supporter of LGBTQ+ rights and humanitarian causes, using her platform to promote compassion and equality. Arthur remained active and outspoken well into her later years, maintaining the same independence that had defined her since youth. She passed away peacefully on April 25, 2009, at the age of 86, after battling lung cancer. Her death marked the end of a remarkable career spanning more than 6 decades. Fans and colleagues remembered her not only as a brilliant performer, but as a woman of integrity, intelligence, and courage. Arthur's legacy extended far beyond entertainment, reflecting a life lived with conviction and a refusal to conform to expectations. Legacy, tributes, and lasting impact. Bea Arthur's impact on theatre and television was honoured with powerful tributes following her passing. On April 28, 2009, Broadway theatres dimmed their lights for 1 minute, a time-honoured gesture reserved for artists who shaped the performing arts. Later that year, a public memorial at the Majestic Theatre brought together friends, fans, and collaborators who celebrated her life with stories, laughter, and heartfelt reflection. Figures such as Angela Lansbury, Norman Lear, Rosie O'Donnell, and Rue McClanahan spoke of her brilliance and unwavering standards. Bea Arthur left behind more than iconic roles. She left a blueprint for strong, intelligent storytelling led by women. Her work continues to inspire performers and audiences alike, proving that authenticity, courage, and sharp wit never go out of style.